What's good, everybody? Man, it's your boy, Mr. CDK. I got my brother, man, D Free in the house. This is Sports Talk Network. And we got a special guest in the building tonight, man. 12 and 1. You know what I'm saying? Mr. Joey Borrero. Also, the nephew of the legend, Felix Trinidad. This is my brother, man. A good dude, man. A good brother. He always comes through for me. How you doing, Joey?
I'm doing blessed, brother, blessed, and just working hard, staying consistent in the gym, and taking care of family, enjoying. That's part of boxing that people don't understand. That a boxer has to enjoy the time they spend with their family.
Definitely, definitely, man. I know you've been keeping up with everything going on, but before we get off into that, I want to, check and see, you know, when is your next fight?
So right now we're in negotiations. I can't really say too much, but it's definitely going to be big. We've turned down some big offers also because this fight that we're looking forward to is it's definitely a big one. So all I can say is it's gonna be in Dubai. So that's
We going to Dubai?
yes, sir.
Oh, this definitely gonna be a big fight. Is this gonna be one of those turkey cards or something?
Uh, is 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 not Turkey is definitely a big promotional company that's been working out there. Like I said, I can't say anything
Yeah,
until contracts are officially signed.
definitely, definitely. I understand that. So we ain't gonna try to dig too deep. I'm just excited for you, man. You know what I'm saying? I love when you got, you know what I'm saying, you staying busy, getting your fights in, and I know you prepared. One thing about you, you stay well prepared.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Did you pay any attention to the fights yesterday? Was you able to watch the fights
I didn't watch.
or the day before?
I didn't watch all of them. Of course, I watched the main event. But that was pretty much it. I did pay attention, though, however, to the David Benavidez and David Morrell fight. That was a really good fight. I know there's been some great fights going on in the past, so you
Yeah,
know that Bivol rematch um was great. And I knew that was gonna happen because I knew the big money was in the trilogy. The big money for the promotion is in the trilogy. That's why they did it this way. There's no more other fights for Archer to take other than Bivol. Because you gotta remember, Arthur's not getting any younger, bro.
yeah. What do you think about the Benavidez fight for either of those guys?
I feel like Benavidez is not ready for that type of caliber in that weight class. Um, I mean, you gotta remember, you saw Morel, a Cuban boxer, that he did good, but you gotta remember, he's not. Cuban boxers, they're going into Cuba, they're fighting over 300 amateur fights, but they're only going 3 rounds. When you start stepping into the 12 round realm, it's different, you know, and I believe that if Morel would have got tired early in the fight, he would have been knocked out.
Mm. Yeah, definitely. I think I know what you're saying. I think my real experience level. Free, what do you think, Free? Or you got any questions?
Yeah. I see that you're Felix Trinidad's nephew. How was it growing up a nephew of a legend?
Honestly, it's something that I'm grateful to God for, because I never thought that I've been able to live and do all the things that I've been able to accomplish, you know, in boxing and being related to a legend, watching him when I was growing up. I remember he was my inspiration to become a professional. Ever since him and Fernando Vargas fought and I saw him on TV, that was the moment that I was like, you know what? My family was cheering. It was one of the greatest moments in Puerto Rican boxing history. And I remember hearing the cheering, and I was like, you know what, this is what I want to do. I want people to remember me by this, by doing this, by becoming a world champion. And ever since then, I remember I was 6 years old. I started pushing through and falling in love with the sport of boxing.
Evan,
Uh,
go ahead, Free.
yeah, so are you signed to a promotional company or are you still looking for one right now?
I can't really talk about that right now. Um, like I said, I just got a fight coming up, and we got some contract situations that are being worked out in the background. So I can't really speak on anything. But I
No.
was at one point. I was at one point. I had 2 points in my career I was signed.
Yeah. I
Okay.
remember I remember you saying you were signed and it was a bad situation with your last deal and moving on and everything. And I mean, do you feel like since you moved on, has it kind of stagnated the way you want to move, or is everything moving better now on that aspect?
So in the aspect for me personally, it's going good. Um, because there's many places, many things I can do, many offers on the table. But the ones that we're mainly looking at is that Dubai deal, and it's looking really good. I can't really speak too much on it, but I can say it's gonna be something that's gonna help me in my career big time. But I can also go one of the ways by most MVP. You know, I can always go fight an MVP and fight one of their prospects, take down one of their prospects, go over there. You know, because I have the support in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Definitely. And Felix, I know your uncle. I know you go over there a lot, and he lives in Puerto Rico. So going to Puerto Rico, when you over there with him, like I know, like over here, you get a lot of celebrities. They can't move around, as much, and because people always want. Like, how is it over there with him? Like, when you are around him over there, does he get like? Is he able to go out and about and be in the public?
I mean, now more than before, yes. But before, when I was growing up, I remember everywhere, everybody would take pictures. He wouldn't be able to go anywhere. He could barely go spend time with his family, you know what I mean? Because people would interrupt him because we're on pictures. And he would never say no. He would take pictures with everybody. He always told me, he's like, dude, it only takes maybe 10 seconds to take a picture with somebody and you make their day. You know, you don't know what people are going through. And he always told me, he's like, never turn down a picture. And I'm the same way. I never turn down the picture with nobody. I never turn down the interview, never turn down anything. Um, because at the end of the day, you guys are the ones that make us. You guys that are watching us, you guys that are watching our careers, are following us, you guys are the ones that make us.
Evan, appreciate that. Free, you got anything? You want to say anything?
Yeah. I know in the sport of boxing, the people from the fans outside looking in, we see the good things about the sport of boxing. If there was one thing about the sport, what and you that you can change, what would it be?
Bro, that's a lot. But in all honesty, I would say the A and B side fighting system.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That tends to hold up a lot of fight. People being the A side and the B side. B
You
side
know
believe
that?
they're on the same level. They
Listen,
want to get paid the same.
listen, and this is the thing. There's some B side fighters that This is what I tell everybody. There's no such thing as an A side or a B side fighter. There's no such thing as a good fighter or a bad fighter. At the
Yeah,
end of the day, bro, it's two people going in there and they have a certain skill level. Some are higher skill, more skilled, more gifted, some aren't. But that doesn't take away the fact that they're dangerous. And you have to approach that situation and train like you're fighting for a world title. You can't take it easy. You have to train on that off day. On that off time. When you don't have a fight coming up, that's the time that you really need to spend training, sharpening yourself. Because if you're not doing it in training camp, you're not gonna magically do it in a fight.
Right.
definitely.
Now, we know that there's PEDs in the sport, and people getting caught with PEDs all the time. How how do you deal with a situation, and or should I say, how do you worry about your opponent being on PEDs? Does that worry you of one of your opponents might being on PEDs?
No, I mean at the end of the day, of course, if it's like a crazy amount of PEDs, then it's different. But if it's like something minuscule, of course, I'm let them get it fine, let them take everything, but that's not gonna stop them from getting a whooping. You know what I mean? Like you can't blame PEDs on skills. You know what I mean? If you got the skills, it
Hmm.
doesn't matter how many drugs you take or what you do to your body to enhance it. You can't touch me. What are you gonna do? You
Right.
can't hurt me. Can't do anything. You know what I mean? There's different ways to defend yourself. There's hair movement. There's blocking. You know what I mean? There's counters. There's so many ways. So many. You just gotta be creative. Pay attention to your opponent. You know what I mean? And that's one thing that I've learned growing up. My uncle he told me he's like I have a similar style, and all my fights I fought with my style, but I had to always tweak it a little bit because I couldn't fight Pernell Whitaker the same way that I fought Oscar De La Hoya. I couldn't fight Oscar De La Hoya the same way I fought Fernando Vargas. I couldn't fight Fernando Vargas the same way I fought Bernard Hopkins.
I see what you're saying, but do you think there's anything different they should do when it comes to PEDs and the way they deal with people in the sport that when they get caught?
I mean, of course, bro. Like I feel like if it's, but I believe they need to raise the levels in the bloodstream that you can have. But I believe that if they pass that limit, that they should have severe consequences, like attempted murder. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Things like that. But if we're talking about like that whole Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney situation where it was a very minuscule amount and now they're gonna investigate it, that type of BS, I'm like, it shouldn't even be something we should be paying attention to.
Let me ask you this though, with the Ryan, I'm glad you brought that up in the Devin situation because you hear about people that they take PEDs because they said, now you know better than we do. Now I heard that when in boxing, when you don't have a fight, they don't test you. So people cycle on and cycle off. Do you think it's possible that Ryan could have been cycling on and off at the time? Is that possible?
Oh, it's very possible. It's very possible and it's very likely. Very likely. Because a lot of fighters um that have been in the Reynoso camp have been known to do that.
Right, right. The Reynoso camp, we know is Canelo Alvarez, who's the face of that. A lot of those guys have been caught. And do you think, I don't want to know what's going on, but behind the scenes, many boxers getting caught up. Did you hear me, Joey?
You're glitching out. You're cutting out.
I said, can you hear me now?
Yeah, a little better.
Okay, I was saying with the Eddie Reynoso camp, we know that Canelo Alvarez is the face. But do you believe that Eddie Reynoso, with so many fighters getting caught in his camp, not want to accuse nobody, but do you believe he has to know something?
I mean, is telling them the meat. Somebody's bringing them the meat.
Yeah.
So somebody's bringing that meat from Guadalajara, Mexico, back up to the cap.
Hmm. Definitely, definitely. Somebody got to be bringing it in. There ain't no way around that. You definitely right
Yeah,
about that. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
And
somebody gotta be, and I mean, it's not the same thing, but it's like, for example, you go to Mexico, you can buy PEDs over the counter, no problem.
mm,
Bring them back into the States, nobody's gonna tell you nothing because you brought them in legally and you bought them in Mexico legally.
I ain't even know that. Did you know that, Free? Free, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can
You
hear you.
might.
I was on mute. I was on mute.
Okay. Yeah, I was saying, did you know you can go to Mexico and get the PEDs and bring them back like that with no problem?
Oh yeah, I mean it's being done like that all the time. That's some of the ways that the PEDs get into the United States. They get them from other countries and bring them in, um, because of the rules are so strict over here. A lot of times people go over there and use them, and they come back here. Um, but it's I mean you can get PEDs anywhere, um, because in other countries, a lot of the PEDs that some of these guys are taking is not illegal in the other countries like it is here.
Right.
So it's much easier for them to get it over in another country than it is to get them here.
Man, that is crazy. And Joey, one thing about Joey, Free, me and him do a lot of talking about. He watches boxing like we do. A lot of times fighters don't keep up with it, but he definitely keeps up with the sport and the fights and stuff. Man, I know you've been in the ring with, he been in the ring with Tank, and you told me that Tank was the only fighter to ever knock you down in sparring, and you
Hmm.
told me about the power and how hard Tank really punches. But I don't know if you got to see the Shakur Stevenson fight. We know Shakur hands is bad. Do you still consider that a 50-50 fight? And who do you lean towards right now at this moment?
Let me tell you, everybody can have an off night. Um, we know this guy had no business staying that long in there with Shakur Stevenson, 9 rounds. So literally a guy that had a 5 days notice for a fight.
Right.
It's crazy. But Shakur is not a power puncher for sure. He is a boxer. And I've always said it. In the boxing skill wise, I'd give the fight to Shakur. But Tank has that power and has great boxing because Tank is a better boxer than he is a brawler. So now I'm leaning more to a 50-50 fight because I've been seeing in the both most recent fights, you can see their ability. You can compare their ability. You can see what how their skills now are more effective. For example, like now I believe Tank has more boxing skills to be able to defend against Shakur. You know, Shakur is still a great boxing prospect that he's trying to learn how to be more aggressive now. He's pushing for that aggressiveness because he understands that he's not an exciting fighter. without knockout power or without stoppages. So he's trying to bring that to his arsenal, and I believe that if he does bring that to his arsenal, he will be a devastating fighter. But right now, as it stands, his boxing ability is the only thing that you really have to watch out for.
Yeah, that makes sense. Free.
Yeah. So, who are some of the guys that you have sparred with as you was coming up as a boxer?
Rolando Romero, Fernando Vargas Jr., um, Devin Haney, Jose Benavidez, um, man, Francis Bartholomew, Jordan Sugas, Gamboa, um, oh man, what's his Thomas Delorme, Luis Arias, so many names, man, because in Vegas you just have so many big names fighters. Jorge Linares, I helped Jorge Linares for like 3 or 4 training camps of his. Um, Tomoki Kameda before he fought Floyd Mayweather and did the exhibition in Japan. There's so many fighters that I've been able and I've had the experience to share the ring with.
So how was it sparring Devin Haney? Is he that special type of boxer that a lot of people give him credit for?
Devin's boxing IQ is phenomenal. Um, all I know is from what I've done, from the sparring sessions that I've seen him in, and every time I would spar him, he doesn't do good with pressure fighters. Um, he's dominated by a pressure fighter, by somebody that can bring that pressure, throw to that body, and throw hard because his body is not good. No matter how much he works it out, you're not able to fully absorb a body shot and be okay. And that's the one flaw that I find that Devin has. But as far as boxing skills, he's phenomenal. Like it was hard for me to touch him. Um, I remember he switched on me and he did something that Sab Judah used to do. You know what I mean? Because he used to spar Sab Judah all the time back when he had his gym in Las Vegas. His dad was the owner of the gym. Sab Judah used to go there and work with him. You know, it it was it was definitely an interesting sparring session.
Out of all the people you sparred, who would you say was like, in there? I know sparring, you're working on stuff, but who would you say was the toughest competition as far as sparring with anybody you've been in there? Where would you rate? Where would you rate Tank and the others as far as sparring?
I would definitely put Tank as one, Rolando Romero number two,
Wow.
Devin Haney number three, um, Jorge Linares, actually Jorge Linares, and then Devin Haney. So number three Jorge Linares, number four Devin Haney.
So you
Um,
really? Oh, I'm sorry. Let me ask you this, Joy. In between that, a lot of people don't really think that Rolly can really box, but you say you ranked them
it's
number two.
Yes, because it's different, okay? So I'm not the sparring partner that I'm not gonna go in there and you're gonna tell me, oh, you know what, I'm gonna pay you, but I'm gonna pay you $1,000 or $2,000 a sparring session, but just work as a southpaw or just work with your job. And I'm not that guy. If we're gonna spar, you're gonna try to kill me, and I'm gonna try to kill you. And Rolando, I rank him number two because he's one of the only guys that has been able to do that with me in the ring. And I remember I heard him, he heard me. So it was a fun and entertaining sparring session. It was tricky because he's very unorthodox and I am very unorthodox at the same time. Devin Haney, of course, boxing skill wise, he was way better. Way, way better. Like, there's no comparison in the boxing. But the way that the sparring scenario and everything was handled was not a correct setting.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Do you so we know that Rolly and Ryan Garcia they sparred and Rolly said he got the best of him. But in the actual real match, you think it's gonna be a lot different now?
Sparring is way different from a real fight. Um, I've seen people get dropped in sparring sessions. And then they fight each other in a real fight, and guess what? The guy that got dropped in the sparring knocks out the other fighter. You know what I mean? Like I've seen many situations like that. Coming up in the pros in the small shows, like people don't understand the real talent. It's in these underground shows, in these underground venues. You go to Mexico, you go to Colombia, you go to Dominican Republic, you see all this hidden talent that hasn't been discovered yet or hasn't been given that opportunity. But it just shows you how the boxing industry is.
Right. Three.
Yeah. So with that being said, do you think that um, what Turkey is doing is making it better for the A side and the B side to pretty much do away with that situation?
Yeah, because he's trying to help boxing become boxing again. What's this about? Oh, he has a loss or she has a loss. They're not good fighters anymore. Bro, like to this day, you put Manny Pacquiao to fight a bum in the street that nobody knows, he will sell out any arena. Why? Because he is Manny Pacquiao. It doesn't matter how many losses, how many wins. Those are the real fighters. You know, I respect more the fighters back in the day. That's one thing that I will say about Floyd, bro, and nobody can hate. Floyd in his career, regardless if they were old or they were young, they were dangerous, somewhere in their prime, he fought the most world champions in the smallest amount of time in boxing fights.
Yeah, he did. He definitely did. I gotta agree with you on that. So, with that being said, how do you feel about? Do you think like behind the scenes people are getting paid to kind of really hate on Turkey? Because I've never seen it where fans care about how much boxers are making and how much money Turkey is spending. Where do you think it come from?
Definitely, I believe that there is always something going on. Remember, where there is big money being moved, there's always big money being moved against it. Why? Because there's always somebody after the biggest slice of a pie. Some people want the whole pie.
Yeah, definitely. You're right about that. They definitely want the whole pot, and I hate that because do you feel like also that Floyd hurt boxing with him going undefeated? A lot of people said that hurt boxing because a lot of fighters
I
are
mean,
focused on that.
it's not that it hurt boxing. It created an era, and I believe that era is coming to an end because of that is something that I do appreciate of Jake Paul bringing the influencer boxing. because that boxing attraction, those extra eyes help boxing come back and start bringing back those huge purses that it used to bring. You know what I mean? That is one thing that I'm appreciative of, and I can say that he helped bring back the sport of boxing. Because if you really think, look at all the big networks. They closed down. HBO Boxing is out. Showtime Boxing is out. Um, you know, there's nothing. ESPN, I think I heard they just ended their contract with Top
It
Rank.
did. Yep.
You know, so what's going on? Who's really putting on the boxing? Now you got Jake Paul selling out these seats, and Roberto Clemente, he's not really a big boxer or never been a world champion, but he's selling out shows and putting on exciting fights like Amanda Serrano. You can't hate on that.
You right. Free.
Yeah. Now, I know you say that you have a similar style to your uncles, but what would you say is your best attribute?
Left hook.
Left hook. Now,
Yes, sir.
um, so do you see yourself more of a boxer puncher, or do you see yourself more of a quote unquote brawler?
Well, my whole career, I've been a brawler, um, but I believe now that we're working on a lot of different things, and that are pushing me to be more of a boxer.
How long have you been with your coach now? Your recent coach. How long? How many fights have y'all been together now?
This is gonna be our second training camp we've done together. But we've been a little bit about 2 years already. 2 years we've been working together. We just haven't been able to come through with a lot of fights, and some of the offers that we do get, we sign the contract. They research about us, they turn us down, you know. Then they try to call us back and throw the offer again a week before the fight, because they think you're out of the gym, you're out of shape, But I'm like, I'm not gonna take the fight because they try to offer you less money because they think you're gonna be more desperate.
Right, right. TD Sports Talk, which I know this the answer to this, but he said, "Where in Puerto Rico do you train at?" But you actually train what do you train in Colorado?
So I live in Colorado. I do my
Yes.
training camps in Oakland, California. Here
Okay.
in Colorado, I train in A1 boxing gym in Aurora. But when I do my training camps for the fights, I go to Oakland, California to the Lightning's Boxing Club, or in Puerto Rico to Ivan Calderon's gym in Guaynabo.
Let me ask you. I gotta put you on the spot. And I mean, I know the obvious answer, so I'm gonna say outside of your uncle, who's your favorite Puerto Rican fighter of all time?
Other than my uncle,
Yeah,
man,
Mhm.
Wilfredo Benitez.
You hear that free?
yeah, I heard him.
Do
A lot of people would say Miguel Cotto, but I feel Wilfredo Benitez had the greatest accomplishments. He is what made Puerto Rican boxing. He shaped Puerto Rican boxing into what our modern day champions are able to have today because of them, because of those early legends.
are you familiar with I know that Jake Paul moved to Puerto Rico, and I think that's
Yeah,
very
to
real.
El Dorado. El Dorado, that's where he's staying at.
What do you think about? I know we've talked about this, but I want to say his name right. Cerebral Matias, is it Matias? Matias?
Subre Matias, yeah.
You and I know that you do know him personally, right?
Yeah, of course.
Uh, so what do you think about him and Teofimo Lopez? Do you think that would have been a great fight?
I don't think Subriel has what it takes to be a Teofimo Lopez. No,
Mm.
no.
I respect that right there. That man, that's real. That's keeping it real. So you think that Tio would have definitely?
I don't think Subriel has enough to be me in a boxing match because
Wow.
he thinks still too long.
So you saying yeah? So you say that again? I missed that last part, Joey.
I said Subriel couldn't be me in a fight because he just stays too long in the pocket. He's not boxing correctly.
Mm.
Even his last comeback fight, he was still making a lot of mistakes. He was definitely moving more, but he was still committing a lot of mistakes. You know what I mean? As he stands now, Subriel doesn't really look like a threat at the 140 or the 147 weight classes.
So you don't think he's really a threat at that weight class, or do you think it's just a lot of things he need to work on and he can be a threat?
I mean, he can be a threat. You can't take away his pressure, the heart that he has, but he's there's only so much punishment you can take. Those punches are not vitamins, and that's something that Ismael Salas used to tell me joking around because I used to spar and like to go to wars. But he's right. Those punches aren't vitamins, and if you ever been hit by one of those 8-ounce gloves, bro, it doesn't matter who hits you. They got power. It's like getting hit with a small bat.
Mm. Three. What do you think about
The,
that, friend?
the, Thomas got a question for him.
Go ahead.
He said, has he ever heard of, I can't pronounce that name.
Is that Monterey Boxing Academy?
Monterrey Boxing Academy.
Yes.
I think I've heard the mention of it before. Yeah.
Okay, that was a question from TD Sports Talk Thomas. He was asking that question. But like have you had opportunity? Have you ever sparred Cerebral Matias? Have y'all ever sparred?
No, I wanted to when I went to Puerto Rico my last fight when I was getting ready for my fight and he was getting ready in camp for his fight. I would have loved it to get at least one or two sparring sessions in with them, but they're really strict at the point that they don't really want him fighting people that are in his same weight class, which I understand because my training camp we do the same thing, you know. Um, it's it's a way to keep your fighters safe and keep yourself safe
You're right.
and avoid yourself from being studied.
Mm. What about as far as you got your trainer? Have you ever thought about, or have you ever asked your uncle Felix would he be your trainer? Have you ever thought about that?
I mean, he wouldn't train me. He's offered to hold pads for me and stuff like that, but as a trainer, he just doesn't want to be that involved in boxing. Um, but he does support me. Like he'll go show up to the shows. You know, he'll be there helping me out with whatever. You know, if he needs to go run with me in the morning, he'll go run with me at the track. You know, we'll do training camps together. You know, but he just helps because he wants to. He doesn't help because he wants to be a trainer. You know, that's Ivan Calderon. He's another great boxer from Puerto Rico, and he's a Hall of Famer and great trainer, great boxing trainer. But he loves being a trainer. You know what I mean? So
Mm,
not everybody's called to be a trainer.
yeah. Now,
Definitely, definitely.
what is I mean, I know you and your uncle spoke many times before, and you said he was your inspiration to being a boxer. What is the most important thing that he told you about this sport that you still think about every day that you get into the ring?
Don't back up. Don't back up. No matter how much they keep coming forward, you keep coming forward. Don't back it. Don't back. Because if you start losing ground, you're showing that you're scared, and that is so true, bro.
Mm. That is sound advice. I was gonna say probably protect yourself at all time, but that's definitely sound advice right there. You know what I'm saying? Don't back up.
I mean,
And
you
go ahead.
can, but me, like there's only been two people in boxing. There's three boxers that I love watching. Um, Two people that I've listened to their advice. One was my uncle, and another one was Julio Cesar Chavez when he said, "Hit the body first, the hands come down." You know what I mean? Now, my top three influential fighters, and I'll give a special mention. Number one, of course, my uncle. Number two, the Prince Ahmed, and number three, Salvador Sanchez. Honorable mention, Paul Williams.
Yeah,
Mm,
Paul Williams, the truth. Great,
yeah,
great. I love Paul Williams as a fighter. And earlier, I told him that you was the one that really was able to connect me with Joseph Brown and that young man. Have you had opportunity to watch him?
No, he's great prospect. I've been talking to him for a long time. We haven't had the opportunity to spar each other, but me and his dad Martin are always trying to set something up and make it happen. But we just haven't had the opportunity to come across each other in a sparring realm. I definitely talked to him in Vegas in person. And I've seen him fight, and he's definitely a good fighter, a good boxer, and I'm talking about ever since MMA, his dad Martin would send me some of his MMA links to some of his fights. So he's done kickboxing, you know what I mean? So he's a solid prospect.
yeah. Yeah. Now, you spoke about uh, Chavez. You said that one of the guys that you like to watch. Um, do you think we will ever see somebody to have a similar record as Chavez?
I got a question for you. Will we ever have another Sugar Ray Leonard?
Sugar Ray Leonard?
Will we ever have another Sugar Ray Leonard?
Mm.
Mm,
Will
I
we
don't
ever
think
have
so. I don't
another
think so.
Tommy Hearns? Will we ever have another Tommy Hearns? Will we ever have um a Marvin Hagler? We only get one great fighter once, and that's it. You can have
Yeah,
similar styles, but you can never have the same quality of fighter. Only once in history. And that's what I've learned. You can always have similar boxers, but never the greats because you can compare Floyd Sr. style to Floyd Mayweather Jr. You can compare his uncle to Floyd, but you can see the difference and the impact in history was different.
yep.
That definitely makes sense. That makes sense. Do you see anybody with a similar style to Chavez? Anybody that you think has had that type of style?
Right now, like I like Mungia. I would say Mungia has a similar style. Mungia, after this last loss, he's getting dirt thrown on his name. but I believe he can come back from this. Everybody has a bad night, and that just happened to not be his day.
Yeah, I agree. But do you think what about punch resistance? You heard that after a while, when you take a lot of shots, that the punch resistance can, it can get worse or weaker. Do you think with him, his style of fighting, do you think it has something to do with his punch resistance not being the same?
I can't really say that about him. Man. So his punch resistance is not that. It's not the same because the guy that dropped him that was not known to have power. It wasn't because his chin went out. I
Right.
believe he was just tired. Munguia got tired, got caught with a good counter shot. It happens to anybody, bro. You get caught with a counter shot, you get caught with one good shot. In any moment, you're done. You're
Yeah.
hurt. Your body can't respond. The moment you get hit, you lose your equilibrium, or you get a good shot on your chin, and your brain starts reacting to it. You can't really recover from that.
Right about that. Yeah. Free.
Yeah. I mean, he answered pretty much all my questions. I don't really have anything else.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this. Uh, we got Rio coming up and Gary Antoine Russell. What do you think about that fight?
Antoine is a tuna for Rayo.
Mm. You have Rio winning then?
Yeah, I don't believe. Okay, we're talking about Cuban boxer, um, Rancho Bartholomew when he fought Gary Antoine Russell. He put Russell in trouble. They gave that stoppage what I believe was a bad call. Um, and they gave the fight ultimately to Gary. But if you see the fight, he was giving problems to Gary. So if an older fighter that is getting ready to come on his way out of the sport is giving him trouble, you know that these younger fighters that are coming up are gonna give him more of a difficult time. So I believe Rayo is gonna have a easy time with Gary.
So you don't think that Gary's pressure would affect Rio in any way?
Come on, come on, bro.
Yeah.
Let's be real. Did Pitbull did he have a problem with Pitbull and that
Nah,
competitive fighter?
I was thinking the same thing. I just wanted to hear how you were gonna respond to it. I was thinking the same. I was thinking the same thing. I just wanted to
I'm
get that.
I'm not trying to be disrespectful, like I don't want you to take it as disrespectful, but I'm
Oh
like,
no,
come
no,
on,
definitely not, definitely
man.
not. I'm glad. I want the honest opinion. I just Pitbull. The thing between Pitbull and Gary, that I say is different now. Gary is taller than Pitbull, more range. So there is a difference. There's a difference in their styles because of saying size wise or whatever. So that's the difference I do see, and I think that Gary has the style. Gary Antoine has a style kind of to me similar to that of Sean Porter, that type of version of style. Ryo, he's definitely to me gotten better since the loss to Edwin. He seemed like to me that he has become a lot better.
Yeah, of course, 'cause in this sport, the way that it has become, it's if you have a loss, you got to bring something new to the ring or something attractive for you to get that attention of the promoters, of the fans. Because if not, you just become a gatekeeper. And what I like about Rayo is Rayo refused to become a gatekeeper and came back and won a title. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, yeah, definitely. He definitely ain't trying to be no gatekeeper. I agree with you. I think he shocked a lot of people when he beat Pitbull. A lot of people were picking Pitbull to win that fight. He shocked me in that fight. I gotta say that. I ain't see that coming. Do you think that Pitbull will be able to stay where he's at? Do you see him making any more noise, or do you think that really 140 is probably, what I'm saying, his limit?
I can see him making noise, but he would have to stay in the lower weight classes because his power is not really transferring over to 140.
Definitely. But I feel the same way about Teofimo. I don't think Teofimo power is the same at 140 as it was at the smaller weight classes.
Teofimo's power is not going to be the same at 147. Like Teofimo's not going to have power at 147 if he tries to move and fight Crawford or like that. That's why he started talking and saying, "Oh, you know what? It was just clout." You know, because at the end of the day, he knows. So I know Tio. I know his dad. I get along with them real good. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying this came from them, but they're not dumb. They're smart business people. I can tell you that much.
So you think Tio, they're not going to go any farther than 140 for Tio? This probably where it ends at as far as his career. He might go to 147 later on in his career, but
Oh
I
no,
definitely,
he's gonna make the move, but I'm just letting you know what's going on right now.
yeah,
He
yeah.
for him to transfer his power, it's gonna take, it's gonna take something.
What did you think about him and Boots as far as him calling out Boots for a fight?
It's an interesting fight because I do believe Theo can beat Boots, but Boots, he's a phenomenal boxer. You know what I mean? So that's a fight that boxing wise, you gotta say it's 50-50, depending on which Teofimo shows up that night.
I, I ain't gonna lie to you. I think it's more, in my humble opinion, I think it's more 70-30 in Boots' favor. I just don't see I don't see what he could possibly do, go in there and do against the Boots. I just think I hold Boots in that high regard of thinking that, Boots with T.O. being, coming up, not no power. I just feel like Boots would be able to run over top of him.
Yeah, yeah, but you gotta remember the boxing ability still transfers. His power is not going to transfer, but his boxing ability is definitely going to transfer in a more improved manner because he's going to have a bigger body, be able to take heavier punches. It's also depending how his physical training is, because that's when you gotta remember for a fighter to come up, the biggest thing that you need as a fighter is a great physical trainer. If your physical training sucks, you're not gonna be able to go up and win. God
What
bless
do
your
you
little man over there.
So Canelo and Bud, how do you see that playing out?
I
I
see
think
Bud. I see Bud beating Canelo boxing wise. Weight wise though, I see that Canelo's good because he's used to the way he's gonna try to be a weight bully, which might play a part. But boxing wise, I believe Terrence Crawford is gonna win because Terrence has also been a wrestler, and the weight that a wrestler has to carry is a lot heavier than a boxer. Their weight cuts is a lot heavier. Their weightlifting regimen is a lot tougher.
yeah.
Um, so and he transferred a lot of his boxing ability transferred over from wrestling.
The thing about I tell people about wrestling, because I was an all state wrestler in high school. I was real good. I came in second in the state. I lost in the finals. I think that, you know it's a different type of training, but I still don't know if I believe Bud's gonna be able to take them type of shots. We've seen Bud go down, from not go down, but well, actually he did go down one time, but we seen Bud be hurt by smaller fighters. So that's the only thing that scares me with him and Canelo. Is he able to take those shots from Canelo? Is he able? I feel like Bud has to be perfect for 12 rounds.
Guaranteed, and that is true. He does have to be very sharp for those 12 rounds.
Yeah, he had to be sharp. Man, well, listen, Joe, I'm not gonna hold you up any longer. I appreciate you, man. It's always a pleasure and honor to talk to you. Uh, we're gonna do it again.
Yes,
Keep in
sir.
touch. Let me know. I just want to know when your next fight is. Once you able to tell us, let us know
Yeah,
who
I
you gonna be.
got you for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Let us know. Oh, one more thing. How many more fights do you uh want to before you really try to just step up and get into that world title aspect? How many more fights do you want?
About two more fights.
Two more
Um,
fights.
two more fights. The goal is after two more fights to do a step up fight, a fight for an intercontinental title, get ranked 15 in the world, and open up the doors to start challenging up the rankings and start working my way up to fight a world title. So I'd say in another 2 years, maybe a year, I should be fighting for a world title.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Man, y'all know what it is. This is CDK Sports Talk Network with my guy D Free, special guest Joey Borrero. We'll be back again to do this. We are out. Salute.
Salute.
Peace.
Appreciate